Consider this scenario. You're out for a walk one evening and you start to feel pain or burning in your legs, or your feet become numb when you're at rest. How do you know if these symptoms are just minor aches or if it's something more serious? Could they be signaling a heart attack or a stroke? To help us recognize the signs of peripheral artery disease, I'm joined by Dr. Gregory Domer of Crozier Keystone Health System. Dr. Domer, thanks so much for taking time out today.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Since heart disease is the #1 killer of women in North America and far surpassing breast cancer, what are some of the things that women can do to actually help prevent heart disease and stroke?
Well, heart disease and stroke is part of a larger systemic problem called peripheral arterial disease that includes the heart and the brain, of course. And the arteries are the conduits from which blood is taken from the heart and given throughout the organ system and tissues throughout the body. So things that people can do are heart-healthy diet, so low cholesterol foods, plenty of exercise, fruit and vegetables every day. The #1 thing people can do is to stop smoking. So everybody knows that smoking causes cancer, and about 150,000 people die in this country every year directly related to smoking from lung cancer. What many people don't realize, though, is that peripheral arterial disease and coronary artery disease are also directly related to smoking. And as many as 8 million people die every year from cardiovascular disease and peripheral arterial disease.
That's incredible. That rate is really high. Now, the scenario that I was just talking about earlier, we don't want to really get people very worried. So how do they know that something else is going on, or that it is just a pain or something that not really to get very upset and suddenly run to a doctor? Can they differentiate what's going on with that?
Yeah, they can. So first we would look at, if you have risk factors. So if you're a smoker or a diabetic, or there's a family history of coronary artery disease or stroke or peripheral arterial disease, then those people are more likely that this is peripheral arterial disease that's causing the pain when they walk. And we call that claudication. And it's typically cramping in the muscles. So people will typically present to the office saying, "Doc, I can walk a block, 2 blocks, and I start to have cramping in my calf," or sometimes it's the thigh or the buttock muscle, and then it goes away with rest. So that's the key. If the pain goes away with rest, then that could very well be related to peripheral arterial disease. Numbness that occurs is often just a neuropathy, and that means that it's not necessarily related to peripheral arterial disease, but just some sort of conduction abnormality.
So is that about circulation? Or?
Usually not. It's much less likely to be related to the circulatory system than not. However, if you have numbness in your feet or your toes, that gets better once you get up and start walking around. So just the force of gravity from going supine to standing up will help the blood to flow into your feet and toes and will get rid of the numbness.
Now, you were talking about healthy eating, and so people may be thinking, well, I have to just eat fruits and vegetables. And what are some heart-healthy indulgences that they can do that actually takes care of them at the same time, Dr.?
Well, we recommend lots of fruits and vegetables.
Which are great. I love it, right?
Right. And just watching foods that are rich in fat, cholesterol, those sorts of things. So,
isn't there good cholesterol, though? I mean, sometimes there's a differentiation between what's bad and what's good. What's the difference?
So you want to stay away from saturated fats. You want to try and eat foods that are low in fat. So proteins are good, white meat and things like that. So everybody has to include a little bit of fat in their diet, but just really common sense food choices.
So when people come to you with those symptoms that are related to the peripheral artery disease, what's the treatment?
Very rarely do we actually have to perform an intervention. So whether that be surgery or a balloon angioplasty or stenting, which is a minor procedure where tiny catheters are put into the artery and opened, only about 2 to 3% of people ever require intervention. So the #1 thing people can do is to stop smoking, start exercising, and we know with exercise that even if the arteries are blocked, even completely blocked, you can develop collaterals or secondary pathways around the blockages, and many people will get better with no intervention, just again with lifestyle changes.
That's great to know, the lifestyle changes. Now, what if somebody has varicose veins? Is that an immediately a sign for alarm?
So that's something different. So our circulatory system is divided into arteries and veins. And again, the arteries are the conduits that carry the oxygenated blood to our bodies. The veins are what bring it back for recirculation. So the venous system is not related into coronary artery disease or stroke or anything like that.
So they don't have to worry.
They don't have to worry.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Dr. Domer. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Folks, what Dr. Domer was talking about is really important, because what you really need to do is think about your lifestyle and make some minor changes. Don't go crazy immediately. Make changes that work for you, as Dr. Domer suggested, low in fat. Actually, the exercise, I love the fact about exercise, because you don't have to go crazy at the gym, but you can walk. Isn't walking a really good treatment?
Walking is an excellent treatment, and we recommend people walking just 30 minutes a day, 5 to 6 times a week, and that's enough to help eliminate the need for any kind of intervention.
Well, I love the fact that you don't have to have intervention if you're really taking care of your body and you're taking care of yourself. And it doesn't matter what age you are, you can figure out how to walk 30 minutes a day, as Dr. Domer said. Thanks again.
Okay, thank you.
Power Your Life will be right back. That's it for tonight's Power Your Life. On next week's show, Montrepreneur Iris Shamus shows us how she combines food allergy awareness and fun for kids. Plus, relationship expert, matchmaker, and television personality Siggy Flicker. Hope to see you then. Remember that you have the power to power your dreams and power your life.